Hello, YouTube! This is Spencer with Walk the Nerd, and I am back with the What If series, the series that takes you in to what I would do with, the movie universes such as Marvel, and not really doing DC. See, a little friend over at Batjax. His name is Jackson. You should go check out his channel. It's actually pretty good. He does mainly reactions and trailers nowadays, but there was one series that really caught my eye, and it was basically what he would do with the DC universe. And so I decided, you know what? I'm a pretty I'm pretty into Marvel, and I like Marvel. Marvel's pretty cool, and so I kind of just decided to go with that, and I've been doing the What If MCU series. Now, thank God, Disney has acquired the rights to X-Men. I mean, they did okay for a while there, but now it's... And so, now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with the X-Men. What I would do if, I had the rights and I was able to make my own X-Men movie and everything. So now, as I already established, Spider-Man's been swinging around for a little while. But he's not really a mutant, is he? The answer is no. He's not really a mutant, but he does have mutant-like powers. So everybody's been seeing him swinging around, and now Professor Xavier, mutants have been around for a very, very long time in this universe. But Professor Xavier, as well as Nick Fury and Jean Grey, for the time that Jean Grey's been around. Jean Grey and Professor X have been using Cerebro to kind of wipe the memories of people who've encountered mutants. Because they don't want a big epidemic on their hands. And Nick Fury, he's trying to help them out to kind of bring mutants into the light, but at the same time, he doesn't want there to be like a huge problem, because he knows that if these superhumans who you can't control, the way that people, the way freaking people react to him, he can't control that type of stuff. So he's allowing Professor X and Jean Grey to kind of like wipe their memories and block like certain things, altering people's memories with Cerebro all around the world. And they kind of scan the entire world for that type of seismic activity with all those mutants and stuff. They look into people's brains and they're like, hey! And they kind of, they see through other people's eyes and they kind of see mutants and stuff, and they just wipe all those people's memories. And Professor X has been doing that for a long time, and as we're going to see later on in the movie, there is one person who's been making Professor X's job a hell of a lot harder than it should be, and we all know the name of that person, Magneto. Or at least, yeah, Magneto. And now they've been around for a long time, but we're not really going to focus much on the relationship in this movie, because it's more about the original X-Men team. That's right, there's not going to be a Wolverine in this one, I know, blah, blah. Oh, I wish there was a Wolverine in this one. Hugh Jackman needs to pick up the cross again, man. But no, unfortunately, no Wolverine in this one. Now what we're going to focus on the original team with Angel, Iceman, Beast, Marvel Girl, and freaking Cyclops. So as we open up and everything, we're gonna kind of we're gonna see them in the danger room. This is after we kind of see Professor X talking with Nick Fury. Now Nick Fury is in fact African American in this, and he is a mutant himself, and his mutant ability is that he kind of doesn't age, And so he's been around for a long time, and that's allowed him to kind of take control of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's kind of behind S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything. He kind of runs it from, the back or whatever. He doesn't really show his face that much, but when he does, it's like a dramatic type thing, and it's really cool. And he knows what Professor X is trying to do. And he's in on it, and he's like, yeah, man, that's cool. And so what this will allow is also for him to be back, him to be, around when Captain America first got his powers. You can't really call them powers, but he had the super soldier serum, put into him, and it just became all freaking buff and everything. Yeah, so that'll allow a lot more of that, but after that conversation, because they're talking about, basically, it'll open up with them talking about Spider-Man and Magneto. Now, Nick Fury says that, Magneto's not that, Spider-Man's not that big of a problem. In fact, it looks like he's trying to help people, but Magneto, he's really causing problems. And so we're going to shift over to the danger room with, and Professor X comes in, to the little door into the room up there where he can look at them in the danger room. And it's on a pretty low setting. It's not too high because, with no supervision and everything. And so they're training, and you see Scott he's not the leader yet, but he's still kind of being like, look out, don't do that, we need a plan. And everybody else is like, we're only kids, we're doing this for fun right now. And Professor X says, listen to Scott. And so Scott just goes over and he's freaking everything, just do this and do that. And everybody's like, okay, fine. And so after they get out of that, then they have to go to school, and we are going to focus a little more about the stuff on school. What happens with Angel is that Professor X designed something for him to hide his wings. And he wears it on his wrist. It's like a holographic type thing, and he has to fold his wings so that they're like, it hurts a little bit sometimes. And what's going to happen is midway through the movie, it's going to get that knocked off of his wrist, the holographic projector, and his wings are going to show, and people are going to start looking at him, and they're going to call him Bird Boy, and he's going to have to fly out of the school. I want to show, like, the social problems with being a mutant and stuff. And Beast, he's going to kind of ward off some of the bullies. Beast is on the football team. And so he's really popular or whatever, but he can't stand seeing, one of his friends getting picked on. And, Beast, I still want to stress that he's really intelligent. That's like a big part of Beast. So he's going to tell him to back off, and it turns out that he does everybody else's homework and everything, and he helps them out with their math and everything, and he's a really good football player. And then we're going to kind of like, we're going to shift over to Magneto. And right now, Magneto is at a nuclear, like at one of those places that have the nuclear testing and everything, and he's kind of like pulling all the metal sheet, the metal stuff down, and he's kind of pulling it apart and letting all the nuclear waste loose. It's all flooding out, and he's laughing, he's picking up a bunch of the metal, and he's aiming it towards all the normal humans, like normal humans, more like he's aiming it towards all the Homo sapiens, essentially, and he's throwing it at them, and he's saying he's Homo superior as he's doing that, and he's saying that they shouldn't hold that type of power in their hands, that it should be up to the Homo superior to decide the fate of energy and all that, and he's pissed off for obvious reasons. And so Professor X has to telepathically call the X-Men back to the X-Mansion, and they get there, and Nick Fury's there, and he's saying, we have to stop him, and they're like, well, who are you? And he's like, I control S.H.I.E.L.D., and they're like, wow, that's actually kind of cool. Nick Fury's like, but on the way there, you need to pick somebody up, and that person is Spider-Man. That's right, I want to include Spider-Man in this because he's my favorite character, and even though he doesn't really count as a mutant, hey, so they pick up Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's like, a mutant? What's a mutant? I got these powers from a radioactive spider bite. And they're like, what? Really? You're not immune? He's like, yeah. But I'll help you out. Whatever. And so they go ahead and they defeat Magneto, and things kind of settle down afterwards, but not too much. Now the world's actually aware of mutants, and Professor X doesn't want to continue kind of like clouding people's memories. So now the whole world is aware of mutants, and we kind of leave out, like we kind of pan out of the movie with, not really pan out, but more like leave it open with a newscast. It's like a newscast, and they're like, so mutants, new topic of discussion. Are we truly alone? You know, like, are we screwed? Probably. Alright, so I'm going to leave you guys with that, and have a good one. Please subscribe, yada, yada, yada.